Hi everybody, Elisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Before I talk about um, some items I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to give an update on this bag, which I just recently did a video about the other day, because this was my bag of the day, literally my bag of the day today, and I used it for the first time. And this is my first bag in this style, so I just thought I would report on how I found it when I was out using it. And I gotta say, I just really love it. I know I say that a lot. I just love it. But I do. And I wanted to talk about the straps a little bit because that was one part of the bag that I had some hesitation about, and have talked about the straps on this bag, and also um, the other bag, the Carson East West Tote, which is very similar to this, just a little bit shallower. I don't know if the width dimensions may be different too, but the straps are similar in that. So some Vera fans, we have been discussing amongst ourselves the straps and our feelings about the straps on this bag, because they are a little, as I call them, crunchy. Because, people are thinking they're going to be a rolled strap, which initially I thought it would be a rolled strap too, until I had seen it in the store. Please don't lick. Whatever's going on. Okay. Animals. But this strap is actually, as I said in the video about this bag that I did just recently, it's not actually a true rolled strap to me. It's just a flat strap that's been folded over onto itself and sewn down on one edge, and there's no stuffing in there. So it doesn't have that softness and roundness that a rolled strap has. It's flat. But I found today when I was using it that it actually stayed on my shoulders pretty well, and it felt comfortable more than that, because the outer strap does have a tendency to slip off on me, but that happens on a lot of bags with me, and it may have something to do with the slope of my shoulder more than anything else. In certain bags, it's more problematic for me than on other bags. For instance, the Mandy. I mean, there are a number of reasons I don't like the Mandy at all, even though I have two of them that I'm not selling just because the pattern placement is so good on them. But that outer strap on that Mandy, I can't do anything to get it to stay on my shoulder. It's very frustrating, and that's one problem I have with that bag. But this did slip off a couple of times, not all the time, and then I just sort of overlap the straps that way, so that the inner strap is now on the outside here, and it holds the other strap in place, and I have no problem with it. And it was comfortable. When I stood up, I'll just show the bag again. When I stood up like this, the flatness of these straps really works well, for me anyway, against the shoulder. It feels fine, it feels comfortable, and I didn't have a problem with it at all. And I also really love the size of this bag. I mean, I tend to be a big person, a big bag person. I like to lug around a lot of crap. Makes me feel more secure. So this has just accommodated everything beautifully, and I did use the inner slip pockets and found that my phone and my iPod didn't really pull the sides of the bag down too much. You can see. So right in here, they're in the slip pockets are being used right now. The bag is not, I mean, yes, it is sort of collapsing like that a bit, but I like a slouchy bag, so that's not a problem. It's a real problem when the bag just sort of falls over when you use the slip pockets and the weight is off. And that does happen with the Carson Hobo, I find, even though I love the Carson. If you don't have the bag, the main bucket area of the bag filled up, and you put something in the slip pocket, the bag's just gonna, completely collapse. Anyway, so this, just accommodated all my stuff that I used in the other video to show. It accommodated all fine, and it was very comfortable. I was very pleased with it. I used this outer, the magnetic snap pocket of the flap for my keys, my car keys. So it just was great. I can feel now wanting more of this style, even though I still do find these strips of pleather up top, like I talked about in the other video, in combination with the metal zipper. Not crazy about it because it doesn't slouch. The bag wants to slouch, but it's not slouching attractively because of those materials that were used. And again, not a fan of these pleather tabs, but I can live with it because I was so pleased with how the rest of the bag felt and the experience of the bag. And I just love this pattern in daylight outside. It was sort of overcast, and so the colors look very vivid and just looked great. I mean, it was just gorgeous. Every time I had to, grab it from the car seat next to me and go out, I just smiled. I just thought it was so pretty. And now the sun's coming out, and it's still looking great. So, highly recommend the bag. But the items that I did want to talk about, and this is one thing I had to go pick up today from the mail. Oh, I'm sorry, Doopy. I'm sorry. Did I hit your foot? I didn't mean to. Don't lick that. Don't lick that. The items I wanted to talk about were from the Packable line, which is something that is new to me. And I have to admit that whenever I would go into a signature store and I would see them, I mean, I don't even remember if there were any out, on display with stuffing in them. If there were, I didn't even notice them because all I would see were the displays like this, where they were hung from however they were displayed in the store, in like this, folded up with this, piece of paper wrapped around them. And I would always say, that's just not appealing. You can't see the pattern, blah, blah, blah. But I have been in love with this pattern since I first saw it. I think this pattern is the reason that I would order Super Bloom sketch items, because I was just craving this pattern, which, it's so different, even though they all have the Super Bloom name. And I was always disappointed. And now in the last recent sale that was on the website, these scattered Super Bloom, that's what this pattern is. The scattered Super Blooms items were on sale, 40% off. I couldn't get them all. There was one that was a lighten up item, and that was a little expensive still. Although I was thinking about it because I had a coupon that I could have tacked on. But I couldn't get everything, unfortunately. But I did sort of go to town a little bit when I just saw this pattern on sale, because this is the pattern I've been wanting in Super Bloom so long. And I really was pleasantly surprised with this item in particular. And this one doesn't seem to be on the website anymore, so I'm assuming it's sold out. So I'm so glad when I got it. And I thought I would show these and open them up and try to... this is the only one I've opened and repacked, so I thought I would, I could try to show people how to do that, but I haven't tried to do it with the other items yet, so that could kind of be an experiment. But anyway, this is the Packable tote. So it comes with this label. It has the line drawing of the item, and the dimensions. That's good. Saves me from having to measure them. And then on the back are the packing, folding instructions to repack them, to get them into this shape. And I've already used the tote. I haven't used the other ones, and I loved it. And I think this is going to work really well for me, for example, when I go to my dad. So I tend to pack up 2 large totes full of stuff. Sorry. So usually I'll take like my Glenna tote and an iconic Vera, or a bright tote, or two Glenna totes, and then I don't feel like I want to have a third bag. It would be my handbag when I'm there. And this would have been perfect to have. And so that's how, I'm going to use it however else I need to use it too, but that's definitely something I'm going to use this for, is just to stick it in my bag, to take with me when I traveled to my dad's, because last time I didn't have a shoulder bag there, and I was really kind of bummed when I got there and we were, going out walking around. So anyway, before I unwrap this, unpack it, I just thought I'd show the pattern. This, I think this pattern is just dreamy. I mean, I love it. It looks like watercolor to me. My mother used to paint watercolor, so that might be why I have a fondness for it. But I just think the colors are so beautiful. And I mean, I don't know how this pattern is created, but the way the colors laid down, it's just so gorgeous, and definitely reminds me of watercolor. Very saturated. When you have your brush very saturated with pigment, and there's also a lot of water either already on the paper or also on the brush, and you're just laying down the color that way. Very inky, very fluid looking, and that's what this looks like to me. I mean, that's a good color shot there. It's just, I mean, if they had made this, and I wish they would, if they had made this in the quilted cotton, I would have been up on that like a big dog. I mean, I just would have gotten everything. I mean, as it is, I feel like I almost got everything. I didn't get the Lighten Up weekend or whatever it was, but now I'll be pining for that. But anyway, I got the duffel and the backpack. Now that's when you know that I really am like desperately in love with the pattern, because I don't like backpacks. And the other day I was out with my husband. We were walking the dogs for a longer walk in the park, and I hadn't brought my collapsible water bowl for them. And he said, "We need a backpack or something." I didn't say anything, but all the wheels start turning in my brain. Oh, backpack. That means I could order another thing from Vera. That's a perfect excuse. So I ordered the backpack too, after seeing one in a Packable backpack in the clearance section of my outlet store. A different, I didn't like the pattern. It's one of those like romantic paisley. It looked like the romantic paisley Packable version or something. And I didn't like that pattern, but I was able to actually see the item unpacked, and so that did it for me. That was all I needed. So this one came to me like this, packed up like this with the band around it. I know what you would call that, belly band or something. But it definitely looked like it might have been open. It came to me from a store, not from a Vera warehouse somewhere. I could tell it came from a store. So it may have been on display, or someone may have opened it, and it was like they were struggling to get it back in the packing because it was all crunched up and crinkled and everything. But I have found, I'm a good packer, so that didn't upset me. And it is machine washable, so I'm sure I can get the crinkles, any remaining crinkles out that I might need to get out. But I've already used it. Crinkle doesn't matter. But I was able to repack it much better. And also there on the Vera Bradley website, there's a video about packing and packing these packables up. And she packs up the tote just a little bit differently than these instructions. She folds it up a little bit narrower, which is also helpful to do. But anyway, this is the tote and it is 19 1/4 wide by 14 1/2 high by 6 deep. And the straps, I have them inside here. The straps are very slippery. I will say that I did notice when I was using it, the straps slipped off my shoulder a bit. At least the outer one did. And I did notice that, and it, that's not great, but I love the fabric so much that I don't care. It's like, I don't care at all. I'll deal with it because I had to have this fabric. It's just so yummy, and the pattern-wise, and the texture of this fabric. I don't know if it says what the fabric is on here. It doesn't say on here, but maybe there's a tag in here. But anyway, it just has this nice silky feel to it. I'm sure it's polyester or something. Let's see. Doesn't say. I'm sure it says on the website. But I feel like I'm obsessed now with this line. I mean, I would like to get things. I have ordered another tote in a different pattern. I don't remember what it's called, but when it comes, I'll show it. But there's something about this fabric that I just think is neat. And it's very, it's very bare bones. The lining is just the back of the fabric. And it's not printed. This is printed on this pattern, so it's not woven in the fabric. So the back of the fabric is just the white. And there is no interior, there's no pockets or anything inside for any interior organizations. It's just your basic tote for an emergency. Plastic soft zipper up top, which is nice and not very recessed, and the ribbon pull tie is nice. And on the front, again, like the iconic Vera, the configuration of the pocket with the zipper pocket on the slip pocket, and this, but unlike the Vera, this is the plastic, soft plastic zipper, so that's nice. And so the bottom is where the zipper, when you open it, the zipper's on the bottom. So I think that looks a little awkward. I did notice that in the photos on the website that was going to be the case, especially when I was looking at Silhouette Girl on the website. But again, like I say, for me, it's just about the fabric here. And I just wanted this pattern so badly. I mean, like every time I would get Super Bloom sketch or look at it, I would just say, it's just not doing it for me because it's not this. It's not scattered Super Bloom. So I should probably put something in here just to give it a little body, but I just love it. And I think that, the bottom will sag. I mean, I don't remember even paying attention to that when I used it, when I loaded it up. I was using it to carry some items I was returning to the factory store. And then I knew I could just stuff it in my shoulder bag. And that's what I did, and it was perfect. So I just put a couple things in here to see what happens. I'm pretty sure that it's all going to sag, not going to look great. But what are you going to do? Okay, so yeah, it's sagging down at the bottom. But, I don't care. I just don't care. Oh, so gorgeous, so happy and pretty. So that was the first packable item that I got. Then, where did I go? Too many bags. I'm confused. Okay, so then the other thing I got was the Packable Duffle. Again, there's the label. And why I wanted this duffel was because the straps looked a little bit longer. So the hand straps, for lack of a better term. And I know that most duffels often have another strap that attaches from the ends there, the long ends. And that's what people would throw on use it to carry on their shoulders with the handles sort of just, hanging down. And then you would pick it up by the handles if you just needed to move it around. But this one doesn't have that strap on the edges. And that's what I liked about this. And that the straps that are there seem longer, so you could put those on your shoulder. That just appealed to me because I have duffels that are not Vera, but they're in that other style with the two different kinds of strap configurations. And I just wanted one like this. And so when I saw this and it's in the pattern that I love, I went for it. Now I haven't opened this, and it definitely feels, it didn't come from a store, first of all. It definitely feels neater inside, just I can tell just by feeling it. It doesn't look like it's been messed with yet. But again, this on the back has the instructions for how to fold it. I find they're okay. I mean, they're pretty clear. I do find things like this a little intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. Okay, so this just has a little bit of an unzip. See what that ends up being. And you, I'm assuming, take out one side and another side. Okay, so let's just see what's going on with this thing. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay, so the pouch element that was containing the whole thing becomes this side pocket. Does the zipper still work? Yes. Okay, so the zipper works around that. So you have an exterior pocket, zipper pocket that way. That's nice. Yeah. And that's the whole. Oh, and there's another zipper pocket here. You can tell I didn't really pay attention when I was ordering it, what the features were. I just saw the pattern, was like, I'll take it. That's when you know you're kind of crazy, right? You're kind of, I have to say, I feel very much like a drug addict lately because, you know, when a drug addict is addicted and then they run out of cash, they have to try to figure out alternate ways to get their next hit. And I feel like that's the stage I'm in right now because I'm sort of cash poor right now. And so I'm in, you know, finding other ways, gift cards and credit card points to get my Vera hits. Anyway, so the straps do look nice and long. I guess I could load it up with some stuff. I don't really have a lot. Oh, I could put a pillow in here maybe. Well, let me put this in here. I just want to get an idea of what it, for myself and for anyone who might be watching, see what it looks like when it's loaded up, especially how the straps, how the straps, shoulder straps work. And let's get this closed up so it's not in the way. Okay, I'll put my husband's pillows in here and see what happens. So in case you're ever traveling and need to transport a pillow, you're good to go. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you see, so this, I wanted a duffel with these longer, two longer shoulder straps. Not that the strap that attaches to the ends. I don't know. Just I was getting tired of that configuration, and wishing that I could use on my duffels that have these straps are shorter. I always found myself wishing I could put those straps on my shoulders. So it is, like I said, it's a slipperier strap material. So I definitely am crossing them that way with the inner one. Overlapping on the outer one to keep it in place. But I do like the strap drop. I should measure that, and also I'll give the measurements out. It has the slip pocket, big slip pockets on both sides, take up that entire width and go to the bottom of the bag, so that's nice. Very pleased with this. I guess I could use this to go to my dad's. Maybe I'd only need one bag then. Who am I kidding? I'll never just do one bag. That wouldn't be fun. Anyway, let me see. Okay, the measurements on this. Let's see. Oh, this is the wrong card. 22 wide, so I guess that's the long way. 11.5 high and 11.5 deep, so it's square. And then let me just measure the strap drop. Roughly, because I mean I don't have it full to capacity, so that's going to affect it, I think. I had to guess, I would say maybe about 13, maybe around 13, 14-inch strap drop. So it's good for me. It's definitely good for me. So that was that one. Very pleased with that. Oh, so I guess I'll try, well, I guess I'll open the other thing and then I can just try folding them all up. That should be fun. That'll make for good video. I'll probably only be able to fold the tote up. Okay. And the last thing was, oh, where is it? I'm sorry, Daniel, I keep hitting you. He's a little under the weather. He has a staph infection from his hot spot. So he's on medicine. Okay. So I don't usually do an unpacking, and but I just did pick this up from the mailbox, and I know people say don't use scissors to open your Vera, but I always use scissors, but I'm careful, and you should be careful. I mean, it's fabric. You're dealing with fabric. But I do use scissors at times. Okay, so this was the Packable backpack. I probably won't model it because I hate backpacks and I don't like the way they look on me either. But, you know, if we need something when we're walking the dogs or taking the dogs somewhere, it will work well. And I was pleased when I saw it in the store. I had been hesitating when I just looked at the pictures online because of the straps. I wasn't sure how wide they would be. And I felt like if they were super wide, and it would just feel like all straps. But in the store, and I was able to look at one in person, they didn't seem so intrusive, whatever. So this is 10.5 by 16 high and 5.5 deep. Again, just so people can see the card and the folding instructions on the back. See if I can follow them. This is the pattern again. I mean, I feel like so beautiful. I so in love with it. Look at this leaf. I mean, the color's so great. I mean, that inky watercolor pigment texture. I mean, even the way there's granulation in here, it looks like little grains, little dots. That mimics what watercolor often can look like when you put it down, because you'll see the pigment, the grains of the pigment sometimes floating in the water. How about you don't look like a maniac on this bed? Let's get rid of that. I would like to count one day how many times I say no licking in a day. Okay, unzips. Ooh, that's folded very nicely. Look at that. I'll never be able to get it to look like that. I'm good, but I don't know if I'm that good. So here you can see the straps, the width of the straps, not too wide, I would say. And it does feel slightly padded, not very padded, but it does have a little bit of padding in there. 2 inches wide on the strap. Not too bad. So, okay, so the zipper from when it's packed is on the back. So that's a little less noticeable than on the bottom of, having it be on the bottom of the tote. But I mean, I don't know how they could get around that. Has a little loop up top, handle to grab. And your typical hardware, plastic hardware. Front has the zipper pocket. Again, the ribbon full ties. That white interior lining. Very bare bones. There's nothing no other pocket in there, but that's okay. For what I needed it for, it's okay. I mean, I'm probably not going to use this that much, and when I do, I'm just going to throw some dog stuff in there. Again, all machine washable. And I guess I could use the tote for the dog stuff too, but then with that slippery strap, it'd probably be falling. I wouldn't want to have to deal with that while I'm trying to wrangle a 95-pound dog. So, but look at this. I mean, just look at the pattern. Look at it. I just can't get over it. It's so gorgeous. Just like I said, I wish they had made it in the cotton. I would have been just all over it, really, all over it. Very pleased with that. I don't think I'm going to be able to fold it up, but anyway. Okay, so I'll see if I can get the camera. Oh, well, now I have dog feet in my way. I was going to see if I could get the camera to be right here, and I could try to fold stuff up here for you to see how it works, but best laid plans. Okay, so the tote, get my stuff out. So in the video and also on the instructions on the belly band or whatever you call that thing, they don't say to do this, but I found it helpful to just take the straps and tuck them in the bag. That's one less thing that you have to sort of wrangle. So then you have the bag facing you, if I'm remembering correctly, and you, with the front facing you, you sort of fold it up. So you get that bottom is what's going to be the pouch, right? So there's that zipper, the end of the zipper, exterior pouch zipper. So when you get that like that, fold it up like that, then you flip it over. So that, I just try to be careful because everything's so slippery with this fabric and the straps that sometimes if you flip it over up and the top opening faces down, the straps will slip out since I'm tucking the straps in. So I just try to make sure they don't slip out. Now they don't tell you to do this on the instructions. They just sort of have you folding it, then folding it up, folding it down, I mean, and shoving, just squishing the sides of the bag in. But if you can see the way it's folded, the bag is wider, a little bit wider than the exterior was going to be the zipper. So what I like to do is to tuck in the sides a little bit, form a nice crease there. Again here, just taking that edge where the seam is and tucking it in about 1.5 inches. And once you do that, the first time I did that, it was kind of a battle, but it's like how the inside, the edges of a paper shopping bag fold in. That's what you're doing. You're creating that here. And the first time I did it, it hadn't been done before, but now that and it was sort of hard to get that, the edge of the bag to stay that way. But now that I've done it and it's been packed like that for a while, it's like it has muscle memory, and I've created a crease there. And so now the bag does that more easily. So I'd say for me, it was worth it to struggle with it that first time. And I do feel like it was a struggle. I sort of tuck this top zipper end in, just get it out of the way if I can. It doesn't always stay. Oh, hold on. Okay. Then you take the bag from the top end and you start folding it down. Now, on here, they just tell you to sort of fold it down like that. And you're just kind of shoving everything in. But on the video on the website, the woman from Vera folded it down in thirds like that. And that just makes all the difference. So, whoever edited this, they probably should have done it more like this. But anyway, So now, because I had tucked those ends of the bag in like a shopping bag would go, I don't have to fight with these ends now to zipper it up. So you just fold it in half. You don't have to worry with the straps because I tucked them inside. When they're not tucked inside, you kind of have to worry about them and squish them in, and that's when everything gets crinkled awkwardly. And it's just very easy. Just making sure I'm still in the shot. And it's very easy. You can see how nicely it's just folded up. Just, zipper it around and just make sure that none of the fabric gets, stuck in the teeth of that zipper. That's my big concern when I do this. But for the most part, I would say that's, fairly easy to do. Now, I don't know. I guess I can put this back on here. Be completely compulsive. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see. The backpack now. I have more space now the Duke is gone. Okay, so the backpack. Oh, you're going to help, I'm sure, Peaches. Okay, so it says, let me zip it up again. It's supposed to lay it with the back facing up towards you. I don't know why they tell you to do that. Because the very next step says to move the straps to the front. And then you're working with the front facing you, so you could have just started with the front facing you. Okay, so then you're supposed to fold. Oh, I see, this works pretty well. Okay. Just fold the straps here. Fold the end of the straps in, so they're not hanging down below the bag. Then you have these two edges. Of the backpack. You fold them down, and then that zipper from the pouch, the zipper that becomes the external pouch zipper becomes visible, when you do that. And so then you just fold the thing in half. This was very easy. This was much easier than I thought it would be. I think I thought out of all of them this would be the most difficult, and it actually was even easier than the tote. And then again, just zippering but taking care not to get any of the fabric caught in the zipper. That would be my big concern, is that you might snag the fabric. To be careful there. So that worked pretty well. Very pleased with that, actually. And then the last one. Okay. Let's zip it up. This one's a little crinkly too, actually, now that I look at it. Okay. Flat with the back side facing up, and I think you probably want this zipper, because this is part of the pouch. So I think you want that open, probably. Now it says to put the back side facing you. So that's this side with this other zipper pocket. It says to put the fold. See, you're folding. Oh. This is sort of reminds me of the foldable trunk organizer that I have. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it starts to sort of want to collapse. This was how it was. It starts to sort of want to collapse onto itself this way, which is helpful. Just going to squeeze the air out a little bit. Flatten it down. I'd like to try to get it as neat looking as possible, so I'm going to try to tuck in the edges like I did on the tote bag. Try to get nice creases not sure what to do with these. It doesn't really tell you. Suppose I could tuck them in, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, so then I think you're supposed to fold the edges in like that. Let's see. Turn bag over and pull pocket inside out. Turn bag over and pull pocket inside out. This is feeling a lot messier than I would like. the OCD girl who lives inside me. I try not to let her out too much. But she is just coming. I can feel her running, coming screaming at me. What are you doing? It's so messy. Okay. Well, I got it inside out. I think I would probably play a little bit with it more to see how best to fold it up, to train it to go the way that it's supposed to go, like with the tote, like I did with the tote. But at least I get the concept now, so that wasn't too bad. You know, it feels a little lumpy, but actually not when you smudge it down. It feels all right. So that wasn't too bad. So I just think these are really fun, and of course, the pattern makes it fun, but just very practical. I mean, the fact that you could, you know, just throw one of these in a shoulder bag even, it's just awesome. I mean, like I said, I used the Packable tote to take a bunch of large bags back that I was returning back to the factory outlet store, and then I just shoved it in my, you know, collapsed this and shoved it in my shoulder bag. It was just so easy. So I really just think it's a great idea, and I definitely would recommend it for that. But like I have said, the shoulder straps I find anyway are a little slippery. Just people should be aware if they're not familiar with this product. But to me, that's something that I can work with. That's not a deal breaker for me. And I do feel like once the bag has a little bit more weight in it, that weight helps to keep the straps in place, but they still do slip a little bit. Anyway, I hope people found that helpful. Those are the Packable items in Scattered Super Bloom, one of my new pattern loves. Well, not new, but but the items are new to me. But I have been, you know, crushing on this pattern for a long time now. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time. And I hope people